Hi everyone, it's Jennifer from Flux. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're gonna learn how to crochet the even moss stitch. This is a gorgeous stitch full of texture and it's reversible too. So let's jump in and learn how to crochet this stitch. So let's look up close at this stitch. This is a gorgeous stitch and it's just slip stitches and half double crochets. But the result is all this gorgeous texture. You have these sweeping diagonal lines. It's totally reversible, very easy to do, and it's just a one row repeat. So it's just really easy to memorize and learn. Before we get started, be sure and click that subscribe button to get all the latest Flux video updates. I share full project tutorials, stitch tutorials just like this one, project roundups, and so much more. We have lots of fun here on the Flux channel. So if you haven't hit the subscribe button, be sure and hit it right away to get all the latest updates. For this tutorial, I'm just using a yarn called Bernat Home Deck, and I'm using a 6.5mm K-hook. For your pattern or swatch that you want to practice on, I would just recommend any kind of smooth strand and use the recommended hook size to start. So our even moss stitch to begin is any odd number of chains. So whether you're making a giant blanket or a little scarf or dishcloth or something, just any odd number of chains will work just fine for this. So I'm going to begin our little swatch here by just making 15 chains. Again, any odd number will work, okay? So let's put a slip knot on our hook to begin. Wrap the yarn around your fingers to make a loop, bring the yarn behind the loop, reach in with your hook, bring up a loop and tighten. And like I said, I'm going to do 15 chains, but any odd number. So to make a chain, wrap the yarn around the hook, bring it through the loop. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So here is our little starting chain. Again, any odd number will be just fine. So then what we're going to do for row 1, this is just 2 rows we're going to learn, and then you'll repeat row 2 for the whole thing, okay? So let's do row 1 together first. So in the second chain from the hook, this loop here does not count. We're going to go 1 and 2. In that second chain from the hook, we're going to work a slip stitch to begin. Insert the hook into that chain and bring up a loop. Now you're going to bring the loop that you just brought through the loop that's closest to you on the hook, okay? So bring that loop through the loop that was already on your hook. So just bring it through. And then in the next chain, we're going to work a half double crochet. So to make a half double crochet, wrap the yarn around the hook, insert the hook into that next chain, and bring up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on the hook. Wrap the yarn around the hook and bring it through all 3 loops. And that's it. And that's pretty much our sequence. So let's work the rest of the row together. So in the next chain, we're going to work a slip stitch. And in the next chain, we're going to work a half double crochet. Next chain, work a slip stitch. Next chain, half double crochet. And we're just doing this all the way across. Super, super easy, okay? Slip stitch in the next chain, half double crochet into the next chain, slip stitch into the next chain, half double crochet into the next chain, okay? And so forth, all the way across. Okay, slip stitch, half double crochet, slip stitch, half double crochet, and now we're in that last chain, okay? So just work into that very last chain, that half double crochet, and as you can see, we're off to a great start, okay? So let's move on to row 2. Row 2 is the row that you'll just repeat as long as you want it to be. Whether you're making, like I said before, a blanket or a scarf, dishcloth, what have you, you'll just repeat row 2 as long as you want to, okay? So what we're gonna do for row 2 is we're going to chain 1 and turn. So that chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So what we're going to do is at the bottom of that chain 1 here, that very first stitch that we come to, we're going to work a slip stitch into that first stitch. And then in the next stitch, we're going to work a half double crochet. So very similar to what we did before, except this time we're working into stitches and not chains, okay? Work a slip stitch into the next stitch, half double crochet into the next stitch. slip stitch into the next stitch, half double crochet into the next stitch, okay? And we're just going to repeat this sequence all the way across, okay? So slip stitch into the next stitch, half double crochet into the next stitch, slip stitch into the next stitch, half double crochet into the next stitch, and so forth, all the way across, okay? So slip stitch, half double crochet, slip stitch, and then here we are at the end, and you can see we have one more little stitch to work into. It kind of smooshes down there at the end, but you can kind of use, what I like to do is kind of dig around with my fingers to kind of open it up a little bit. So we just did a slip stitch, and then at the end we're going to finish it off with a half double crochet, just like that, okay? All right, so row 2 is complete and it looks very pretty, and you can already see we have some lovely texture. So those slip stitches that we do in between, see how it makes those like almost like sweeping waves of diagonal lines. It's very, very pretty. It has a lot of nice texture for as simple as it is. Okay, let's work one more row together just to get a sense of it. So again, for your swatch or your project as tall as you would like it to be, just keep repeating row 2. Let's repeat row 2 one more time. Chain 1 and turn. Again, that chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So we're going to go to the very base here, and in that very first stitch, work a slip stitch. Then in the next stitch, half double crochet. Then in the next stitch, work a slip stitch. Next stitch, half double crochet. Sometimes I wanted to just say it as a little tip. Sometimes with this, if it's hard to see the stitches, because there's a lot of texture happening, sometimes it helps me if I open it. See how it's like a little like tighter, and then when I open it, see how all of a sudden I can kind of see a little daylight through there. You know what I mean? So work your half double crochet, next stitch, slip stitch, and we're just going to do this all the way across. And I like to pull it apart a little bit just to see my stitches. That helps quite a bit, okay? So slip stitch, half double crochet, slip stitch, half double crochet, and so forth, all the way across. So super easy and such a beautiful stitch with really a minimal amount of effort. Okay, slip stitch, and now we are here at the end. And again, remember how it's sort of smushed down a little bit. Just work your half double crochet at the end there, just to finish it up, okay? So just repeat row 2. I'm going to add a few more rows so you can see more of a display of the stitches, and we'll rejoin in just a minute. Okay, I worked a couple more rows so you can really see the texture, and it's just such a beautiful stitch. And as you can see, like I mentioned before, it's reversible. So that is how you crochet the even moss stitch. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure and click the subscribe button to get all the latest Fiber Flux video updates. Thanks again.